Have you ever wondered why your body wakes you up to use the bathroom at 2 or 3 in the morning, even when you barely drank anything before bed? And why this seems to happen more and more as you get older? As a doctor, I hear this question constantly from patients who are frustrated, exhausted, and quietly worried that something is wrong with their body. Many of them are told or simply assume that nighttime urination is just part of aging, something they must accept and live with. But here's the truth I want you to hear right now. Waking up every night is not always normal, and in many cases, it's not permanent. In my clinical experience, this pattern often has a very specific cause, and more importantly, a very gentle solution that most seniors have never been taught. What concerns me most is how many people give up on restful sleep without realizing that one small change in the early evening can calm the bladder, quiet the nervous system, and allow the body to finally rest the way it was designed to. In just a moment, I'm going to share one simple habit I've seen help many older adults sleep through the night again, and it begins with something incredibly familiar used at exactly the right time. Stay with me because understanding this could completely change the way your nights feel. One of the most common things my older patients say to me sounds very simple, but it carries a lot of quiet fear. They tell me, I don't drink much water at night, doctor, so why do I still wake up 2 or 3 times to use the bathroom? And almost every time they lower their voice and add, I guess this is just what happens when you get older. I want to pause right there because this belief is where the problem really begins. Nighttime urination is incredibly common after 60, but common does not automatically mean normal or untouchable. In my clinical work, I've seen how quickly people accept broken sleep as a life sentence, even when their body is actually trying to send them a message. What worries me most is not the bathroom trips themselves, but what follows. Fragmented sleep raises stress hormones, weakens memory, and leaves people feeling drained before the day even starts. Studies from sleep medicine journals show that waking up multiple times at night can reduce deep sleep by more than 30%. And deep sleep is when the body repairs nerves, balances hormones, and restores energy. So when someone tells me they wake up exhausted every morning, I don't see age. I see a body that's being interrupted at the worst possible time. And here's the part most people never consider. If nighttime urination were simply about how much water you drink, avoiding fluids would solve the problem, but it doesn't, which means something deeper is happening inside the body while you sleep, something that quietly changes with age and often goes completely unnoticed. And once you understand what that change is, the solution suddenly becomes much clearer and much simpler than most people expect. When I explain this next part to my patients, I usually ask them to imagine their body as a house at night. When everything is working properly, the lights dim, the doors close, and the plumbing slows down so the house can rest. But after the age of 60, that internal system doesn't always follow the same schedule anymore. One of the biggest changes happens with a hormone called vasopressin. Earlier in life, this hormone quietly signals the kidneys to slow urine production while you sleep. It's the reason you could once sleep through the night without thinking about your bladder at all. But research shows that vasopressin levels naturally decline with age, sometimes by a significant margin. Without enough of it, the kidneys keep producing urine almost as if it were daytime. At the same time, the bladder itself changes. I often describe it to patients like a smoke alarm that has become too sensitive. Instead of sounding only when the room is full of smoke, it starts beeping when there's barely a wisp. The bladder nerves fire too early, waking you up, even when there isn't much urine there. Many people are surprised to learn that they're not waking up because the bladder is full, but because it's confused, and then there's fluid redistribution, a detail almost no one talks about. During the day, fluid pools in the legs, especially if you sit or stand for long periods. When you finally lie down at night, that fluid moves back into circulation, gets filtered by the kidneys, and suddenly becomes urine, right when your body should be resting. Studies in older adults show this shift alone can significantly increase nighttime urine volume. So now you can see the real picture. It's not weakness. It's not something you caused. It's a perfect storm of hormonal shifts, sensitive nerves, and fluid movement happening quietly while you sleep. And here's where things start to turn hopeful, because once you understand that your bladder is reacting to internal signals, not just liquid intake, you can begin to calm those signals instead of fighting them blindly. And one of the most powerful ways to do that starts with what you eat in the early evening. Once my patients understand what's happening inside their body at night, the next question always comes naturally. If this isn't just about water, they ask me, then what can I actually control? And this is where many people are genuinely surprised, because one of the strongest signals affecting nighttime urination doesn't come from the bladder at all. It comes from the foods eaten in the early evening. I often explain it this way. By the time the sun goes down, your kidneys and bladder are already preparing to slow their pace, but certain foods send the opposite message. Acidic, fruits-heavy meals, excess salt, and even foods that seem harmless can irritate the bladder lining or stimulate nerve activity. When that happens, the bladder stays alert instead of settling down even while you're asleep. Research in geriatric nutrition and sleep medicine shows that evening food choices can significantly influence bladder sensitivity and nighttime urine volume. In simple terms, what you eat before dinner doesn't just affect digestion, it programs how calm or reactive your bladder will be hours later. I've seen patients eliminate late-night drinks and still wake up repeatedly simply because their evening snack was quietly triggering the bladder without them realizing it. This is why I tell people to stop blaming themselves for drinking water and start paying attention to timing and food signals instead. The goal is not to starve yourself or follow strict rules, but to choose foods that act like a gentle dimmer switch for the nervous system rather than a bright alarm. And this is the exact moment where things become practical and hopeful, because there is one familiar fruit that, when eaten at the right time, does the opposite of irritation. It calms the bladder, relaxes the nerves, and supports deeper sleep, and almost everyone already has it in their kitchen. Now let me share the part that surprises almost every patient I talk to, the fruit that can quietly reset the bladder and calm the nervous system when eaten at exactly the right time. You've probably seen it in your kitchen hundreds of times, yet very few people understand how to use it properly to sleep through the night. That fruit is the banana. Bananas are not just sweet and convenient, they are a natural ally for the aging body. Unlike oranges, pineapples, or grapes, which are acidic and can irritate the bladder, lining bananas are gentle and soothing. They contain about 400 milligrams of potassium in a medium-sized fruit, which works like a natural relaxant for the smooth muscles in the bladder wall. Magnesium, also abundant in bananas, calms overactive nerves and helps regulate the sleep cycle. And the tryptophan in bananas supports serotonin and melatonin production, giving your brain the tools it needs to drift into deeper, uninterrupted sleep. But here is the catch. Almost everyone eats them the wrong way. Too late, too many at once, or with other foods that cancel out the benefits. And when that happens, the banana loses its power completely. This is why timing and preparation matter more than most people realize. And just when you think it sounds too simple to make a difference, that simplicity is actually what makes it so effective. Mastering this small, early evening habit can be the single easiest way to transform restless nights into consistent, peaceful sleep. And in the next part, I'm going to tell you exactly how to eat this banana so it actually works, and the mistakes that most seniors unknowingly make that keep them waking up at 2 or 3 a.m. Now that you know why the banana itself is so powerful, the next question my patients always ask is, how exactly should I eat it to actually sleep through the night? This part is critical because the benefits are completely tied to timing and method. The best time is early evening, between 5 and 6 o'clock. Not right before bed, not late at night. Your body needs time to digest and absorb the nutrients so they can calm the bladder and the nervous system well before sleep. One perfectly ripe banana is enough. Green bananas can cause bloating, while overripe ones may spike blood sugar unexpectedly. Room temperature is key. Cold fruit can actually irritate a sensitive bladder. And perhaps most importantly, it should be eaten alone, no tea, no coffee, no milk, and certainly not with watery fruits like watermelon. I often tell my patients to think of it like a gentle signal to the body, a quiet nudge that says, relax. Now it's time to rest. And if you want to enhance that signal, pairing the banana with 5 to 7 roasted almonds works beautifully. Almonds add extra magnesium, healthy fats, and protein, creating a little evening ritual that tells your nervous system to settle down and your bladder to calm. And coming up next, I'm going to explain the common mistakes almost everyone makes that completely cancel these benefits, and why following this routine for just a few nights can feel like a complete reset for your sleep. Even with the right fruit and timing, many people still make simple mistakes that silently sabotage their sleep. I've seen patients follow the banana routine perfectly in theory, but then they drink tea or coffee afterwards thinking it won't matter. The result, the bladder suddenly wakes up like an overexcited alarm, and the whole benefit is lost. Other common missteps include eating more than one banana, waiting too late in the evening, or combining it with watery foods like soup or cucumber. Some even take, just in case, glass of water right before bed, which almost guarantees a 2 or 3 a.m. wake-up. The body is surprisingly sensitive to these cues, especially after 60, when bladder nerves and kidney signaling are already more reactive. What I emphasize to my patients is that consistency matters more than anything. Just a small deliberate change, one perfectly ripe banana at the right hour, maybe with a handful of almonds, and avoiding bladder-irritating foods and drinks after 7 p.m. can create a noticeable difference in just 2 or 3 nights. And in the next section, I'm going to share exactly what most seniors notice after just a few nights of this simple routine and the dramatic difference it can make in how refreshed they feel in the morning. After following this simple routine, many of my patients are genuinely amazed at how quickly they notice a change. Within just 2 or 3 nights, they often wake up fewer times. Their sleep feels deeper, more restorative, and mornings start with a lightness they haven't felt in years. One patient told me, "It's as if my body finally remembered how to sleep properly." What's remarkable is that this isn't a complex medication or expensive treatment. It's a small natural adjustment that works in harmony with the body's rhythms. The potassium and magnesium in the banana and almonds relax the bladder and nervous system, while the tryptophan helps the brain produce melatonin, guiding them into uninterrupted sleep. These changes cascade deeper sleep supports, better energy, improved mood, and even mental clarity during the day. And yet, most seniors never try it because they assume waking up at night is just normal for our age. Once they see how effective such a simple habit can be, it often sparks a moment of hope and motivation, a realization that peaceful nights are still possible even after 60. And coming up next, I'll explain the final essential step to make this routine truly transformative, ensuring that every night becomes consistently restorative, no matter your age. Finally, the key to making this routine stick and to truly transform your nights is awareness and consistency. I always remind my patients that it's not just about eating the banana correctly once or twice. Your body needs repeated signals to retrain the bladder and nervous system. By keeping the habit consistent for even just a few nights in a row, the nervous system learns to settle down at the right time, the bladder relaxes, and the pattern of waking at 2 or 3 in the morning starts to fade. I've seen seniors who had struggled for years experience almost immediate relief once they followed these simple steps. They report waking feeling genuinely rested, enjoying mornings with energy and clarity, and no longer dreading the interruptions in the night. This small natural shift doesn't just improve sleep, it restores confidence that the body can heal and function as it was designed to. And here's the encouraging part. This approach doesn't rely on pills, complicated routines, or expensive therapies. It's a gentle, science-backed method rooted in the way the body naturally responds to food timing and nutrients. In the next section, I'll share the final tips to maximize this effect and avoid the common pitfalls that can quietly undo all your progress. Even with perfect timing and the right fruit, there are subtle mistakes that can quietly sabotage your sleep. Many of my patients unknowingly undo their progress by adding late-night liquids, indulging in salty snacks, or eating foods that are technically healthy but irritating to the bladder. Even small oversights like a cup of tea after dinner or a handful of watermelon can trigger the bladder's alarm system and bring back those frustrating wake-ups. What I emphasize is that knowledge plus mindfulness makes all the difference. By understanding which behaviors gently support your bladder and which ones provoke it, seniors can take control of their nights. It's about creating a rhythm that respects the body's natural signals, giving it a chance to relax, repair, and truly rest. And here's the part that excites me the most. When patients apply this consistently, the change is often dramatic. Nighttime interruptions drop, deep sleep returns, and the mornings feel lighter and more energetic than they've experienced in years. And coming up, I'm going to reveal one simple addition that enhances this routine even further, creating nights so restorative you might forget what it felt like to wake up constantly. Finally, I want to share the last piece that ties everything together, a small optional addition that can make this simple routine even more effective. Pairing your perfectly timed banana with 5 to 7 roasted almonds provides a gentle boost of magnesium, healthy fats, and protein, all of which help stabilize the nervous system and keep blood sugar steady. This combination works quietly, supporting the bladder and nervous system as you transition into uninterrupted sleep. I often see seniors experience a remarkable difference after adding this step. Their bodies start to anticipate rest rather than react to disruption, and the rhythm of sleep feels natural again. What's most encouraging is that these results don't take weeks. Many notice a change within just a couple of nights. And the best part, this is something entirely within your control. No pills, no expensive devices, no complicated routines, just a simple, science-backed adjustment that aligns with the body's natural biology. Next, I'll explain how quickly these improvements can appear and what seniors typically feel after just a few nights of following this gentle, powerful routine. So let's take a moment to recap everything we've discussed today. We started by understanding why many men over 60 find themselves waking up too sometimes 3 times in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, even when they haven't had much to drink. It's easy to assume this is just a normal part of aging, something unavoidable, but as I've explained from my work with countless patients, it's actually the result of subtle changes in your body. Hormones like vasopressin decrease over time. The bladder becomes more sensitive and fluid that has been pooling in the legs throughout the day, shifts back into the circulation at night, all combining to interrupt what should be restorative sleep. Then we talked about a simple, natural approach that can make a meaningful difference. Eating a perfectly ripe banana in the early evening between 5 and 6 o'clock, paired optionally with a handful of almonds, provides the potassium, magnesium, and tryptophan your body needs to calm the bladder and nervous system while supporting melatonin production for deeper, uninterrupted sleep. Small adjustments like avoiding tea, coffee, and watery foods late in the evening are just as important. The key takeaway here is that these are manageable, realistic changes that work with your body's biology rather than against it, and they can be applied immediately without medications, expensive treatments, or complicated routines. I also want to emphasize something I've seen repeatedly in my patients. Even small, consistent habits can create significant improvements. Within just 2 or 3 nights of following this routine, many men report waking up fewer times, feeling more rested, and starting the morning with energy they haven't felt in years. Their mood improves, concentration sharpens, and overall confidence in their health and vitality is restored. It's remarkable how such a simple, natural intervention can bring back a sense of control and hope. And this is why I care so deeply about sharing this with you. Your nights and mornings matter. Your body still has the ability to function well, to repair itself, and to support your energy and sexual health. The small steps you take today can have ripple effects that improve your overall well-being, including your strength, endurance, and hormonal balance, all of which contribute to sexual function and vitality as you age. If anything I've shared today resonates with you or gives you hope, I encourage you to save this video so you can revisit it whenever you need guidance or reassurance. I also invite you to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to receive the latest medically informed insights and practical tips for men's health, including sleep, energy, and sexual function. Your journey is important, and staying informed empowers you to make choices that truly support your body. Finally, I want to hear from you. Share in the comments your biggest challenge with nighttime sleep or urinary changes. Your experiences matter not only to me, but to the community of men who face similar struggles. By speaking up, you help others feel less alone, and you contribute to a dialogue that can bring real solutions into people's lives. Remember, this taking care of your body, even through small, simple, daily choices, is a powerful act of self-respect. Tonight, as you prepare for bed, you have the opportunity to sleep a little easier, knowing that change is possible, that your body can be guided gently back into balance, and that every peaceful night is within reach. You deserve that restful, restorative sleep and a morning that begins with vitality, confidence, and hope.